by Riverside FM. Powered by Riverside FM.
What is going on, everybody? This is your friendly neighborhood coach, and this is the next installment of the Locker Room. Listen, y'all know what I'm getting ready to do. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Browns. They're going up against the New York Jets Sunday. We're going to talk about the Cavaliers. They just blew the doors off of the Washington Wizards. And then we're going to talk a bit of Ohio State football. Let me say the Ohio State. We're going to talk about them. And I got a few questions to ask. Okay, we talked last week about Evan Mobley, and can Evan Mobley get to that level that would take the Cavaliers to the NBA championship? But let's go a little bit further. Will Donovan Mitchell allow Evan Mobley to get them to the NBA Finals? I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. But what I'm saying is you got two alpha males, one who's been doing it for a long time and one who's learning. And we got the return of Darius Garland. How does that dynamic change the outlook of the Cleveland Cavaliers? So let's get into it. Welcome to the Locker Room.
My ultimate weapon.
Yo. A design for disaster, from the mind to the master. Plot thicker than encyclopedias with unlimited chapters. Face like I play poker, so you get no hints of the takeover. We here to bulldozer the slave owners. Call us insidious, cause we reject the silliness and refuse to participate in your game of idiots. I'm so annoyed by the trashy, more flashy than the paparazzi. I avoid when flashing they Polaroids. I'm not your hero, light up the signal. You SOL, I'm busy, sipping my Tito's in the casino. Go ahead.
Yeah, so welcome to the Locker Room. This is your friendly neighborhood coach, and you are here live with me. And so what are we going to do today? We're going to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cleveland Browns. There's been some developments in the front office. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ohio State Buckeyes. They played today, Purdue, and absolutely beat the doors off of Purdue. But we'll get into that in a moment. Let's go ahead and start with the Cleveland Browns. So, as the week ended, Paul DePodesta stepped down and is now going to be, I believe, the general manager for the Colorado Rockies. Now, I listened to all the other radio stations and all the, internet jive, and they were talking about, could this be the starting point of things changing in the Browns organization? Mary Kay Cabot said no. There are others who said could be. Zach Jackson said could be. Here is my take on that. Paul DePodesta, who was the chief strategy officer of the Cleveland Browns, who honestly was a baseball guy. So first of all, that hire to me made absolutely no sense. You have a baseball guy trying to talk to you about football. Number two, he didn't even stay in Cleveland. He spent his time in San Diego going remotely, working with the Cleveland Browns. But I'm not going to get into all that. He was the number one confidant to Jimmy Haslam. Well, that tells you a whole lot right then and there. You got a baseball guy trying to talk football to a football owner, okay? So that tells you right there where that dynamic went nuts. However, Paul DePodesta did make some good decisions, okay, that Jimmy went against, all right? Jimmy Haslam went and, he picked head coaches against what Paul DePodesta was trying to do. Paul DePodesta wanted Kevin Stefanski here 2 years ago, but he went with Freddie Kitchens. Well, we know what happened when it came to Freddie Kitchens. Okay, Backyard Freddie. We know what happened when it came to that. Okay, so there's been some decisions that Paul DePodesta did have in the best interest of the Cleveland Browns. But once again, you got to get out of the way of Jimmy Haslam. All right. So what is my take on that? Do I think that the ball is going to roll downhill? I can't really tell because of how dysfunctional the Cleveland Browns organization is. I can't really say anything because the Browns have done a lot of goofy stuff. And by DePodesta going to Colorado, which to me, you go from one bad organization to another, tells you a whole lot. But could Andrew Berry move up higher in the organization? Possibly. He could. He could become the chief strategy officer, which causes them to bring in another general manager. Okay. Or he can stay there, Andrew Berry, I'm saying, and Jimmy will bring in someone else. Now, there was some rumors going around. I can't confirm nor deny that he is interested in Peyton Manning coming in. Peyton Manning is not coming to this dysfunctional organization. It's just not going to happen. Okay, I don't see Peyton Manning leaving everything that he's doing right now to come to the Cleveland Browns for nobody to listen to him. That's just me. Okay, would it be nice to have someone who actually knows football to be running this organization? Yes, it would be. Would it, but then you get all the rumors, okay, well, if Peyton is here, then Arch is coming. I see, because I don't want to hear all that. I don't have time for Arch Manning. I don't have time for that. Right now, the best quarterback in college football right now is Julian Sain. We'll talk about that later. But there's a door that's open. Could Jimmy Haslam bring in a football guy who knows football? Sure. Will he? I doubt it. Because Jimmy wants to be in control. Okay? Jimmy wants to be in control. So, moving on. The Browns play the Jets tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern. All right? And so, right now, we're looking at Tommy Rees is going to be calling the plays. Now, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Kevin Stefanski gave up his play calling duties last year, okay, to Ken Dorsey. He didn't want to do it. So and I'm saying this, people, anybody within the sound of my voice, I'm saying this to you right now, okay? Now you will see the ultimate pettiness that Kevin Stefanski possesses, okay? Because I guarantee you, he did not want to give up play calling duties. He did it because the organization told him he had to. Because the fan base in Cleveland was getting ready to hang him in effigy. They're tired of the excuses. They're tired of hearing all of it. So during the bye week, they had to do something. Okay? Andrew Berry was being cowardice by not coming on and having a press conference like he normally does each year. Okay? He don't want to talk to the media anymore because he can't finagle his way out of this. He's got to be able to explain, number one, why you traded Joe Flacco in the middle of the night. Number two, why you got rid of Greg Newsome midweek. And number three, why is everybody, riding Dylan Gabriel? And number four, why isn't Shedeur Sanders playing? Andrew Berry don't want to answer those questions. So that's why he has not spoken to the media in I don't know how long, which is a bad look on the general manager, a very bad look on the general manager, okay? Because you're making these decisions, but you can't sit in front of a group of reporters and explain why your decision-making process. I think that's complete and utter trash. And if you're going to make Kevin Stefanski your spokesperson, you two will be out the door, quicker than a fart in the wind. I'm just being honest. Okay? Now let's get to the football game. The Jets stink and the Browns stink. It's just going to determine who stinks less than the other. Now, the Jets came off of I'm not sure if they won or lost. I have to look at my numbers, but they did put up 39. However, they traded two of their best players. They traded the linebacker and they traded Sauce Gardner, their DB, to the Indianapolis Colts. So right now, the Jets are waving the white flag. They try not to play. They try not to make it look like they are, but that's exactly what they're doing. Is they're trying to wave the white flag. The Browns are waving the white flag, but trying to portray as if they're really trying to win. Now, the reason that I'll roll with the Browns this week is because the defense is better. I think the defense will come out, and I think the defense will win this game. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to be no shootout. But as my man says on 3 the Hard Way, my man L Train, everything is fluid. By the way, let me take this second. I am a proud member of 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast. We're going to start on Mondays. And we're going to be recording. And if you're not a member of 3 the Hard Way, you can absolutely positively go to YouTube. Type in 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast, and you will see myself, Terrence Austin, the captain, and L Train, Lionel Jones. And what we do is we talk all Cleveland sports. That's what we do. Okay. Did I say Monday? I got to check. Check your local listings, y'all. I think we said Saturday. I'm not sure. I got to. Once again, I'm so discombobulated. I'm gonna get it together, y'all. Trust me, I'm gonna get it together. So, yes, if you have not liked, comment, subscribe to 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast. And if you're not a member of the Locker Room, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all need to become a member of the Locker Room because this thing is getting ready to jump off. I'm telling y'all right now, Coach Young talks Cleveland sports, and occasionally I'll do some national stuff. I got no problem with that. I have my opinions on things that go national, but I'm a Cleveland boy. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I live out here in Phoenix, Arizona now, but I'm always and always will rep Cleveland, Ohio. Love Cleveland. Love them. All right. So, yeah, I got the Browns winning this game. Barely. Maybe by a field goal or something of that nature. But I'm not, because it's my job now, I'm going to watch the game. But sometimes a game like this, I'd rather watch paint dry, but it's okay. I'll go ahead and I'll watch this game. All right. But yes, Tommy Reese is going to make the calls. My thing is people ask the question, do they think that the offense is going to look different under Tommy Reese? I think there's going to be some different nuances. So what I mean by that is Dylan Gabriel, because he is leprechaunish, I can see Tommy Reese doing more rollouts with Dylan Gabriel, doing more rollouts with him, getting him in space. Y'all have to forgive me. I got this glare. I'm just trying to get this glare out the way. Him in space, getting him to move around a little bit, and because of that. That'll probably be the only difference you see. He'll be going to the tight ends again because our wide receiving core is absolutely garbage. Jerry Jeudy, there's still an APB out for Jerry Jeudy. Cedric Tillman has been upgraded to where he can come back. It's not going to matter. Cedric Tillman is not very good either. He just reminds me of a younger Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Donovan Peoples-Jones not even in the league anymore. So I'm not a big Cedric Tillman fan. So is either going to be Judkins from the backfield, Fannin, or David Njoku. I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. But I do see the Browns winning. And the $1 million question is, if Dylan Gabriel does not have a good game, could you see Shedeur Sanders? You know what? I don't really want to talk about that anymore because it's so painfully obvious what Kevin Stefanski is doing. And I've talked about it to nauseum. I mean, to absolute nauseum. I've talked about it. And I I want to see Shedeur Sanders? Yes, we need to see what we have. Okay. We need to see what we have. We need to see if one of these 2 first-round draft picks next year is going to be toward a quarterback. But I've said this before. I also believe Kevin Stefanski is petrified because if he throws Shedeur Sanders in there, Shedeur Sanders is going to be successful. Regardless of his crappy offense, Shedeur is going to be successful. Okay. And if Shedeur Sanders is successful, then that makes the Dylan Gabriel pick look completely ignorant, which it is. Okay. And it would also show that you wasted a 3rd round pick. I've said this on previous shows. I've said this on 3 the Hard Way. You're telling me that you felt Dylan Gabriel was better than Jackson Dart. You felt that Dylan Gabriel was better than Tyler Shook. You feel that Dylan Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders. Let's be honest. You feel that, we know that he wasn't the number 1 pick, but you're saying that he was better than these other quarterbacks that I just named. You got to be crazy. And I didn't say crazy. I said crazy with a Q because something is amiss. If you thought that Dylan Gabriel was better than those 3 quarterbacks that I just called out, okay, you may make a case for Tyler Shook. You may possibly make a case, maybe, for Shedeur Sanders. I would debate you. Okay. But Jackson Dart, you're saying that Dylan Gabriel was better than Jackson Dart. Stop it. Stop it. So they have the Jets tomorrow. Like I said, I see the Browns beating the Jets, and then of course everybody will come back and say, okay, they can still make the playoffs. They have to go undefeated, but they have to win so many games. And listen, just take one game at a time, fans. Please just take one game at a time. Don't get that pie in the sky type stuff. I've been caught up with that as well. Okay. Listen, the Browns as the physical team, they're not trying to lose. But someone in that organization, they don't have a problem in taking L's. They don't. They don't have a problem in taking L's. Right now, to me, the Browns, if they do have the number 1 pick or a top pick, they're going to be 3 because Miami is awful and so are the Jets. Okay. And for those that want to talk about Arch Manning, I've said this before and I will say this again. If Arch Manning believes that he's going to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns, Arch Manning will stay at Texas for 1 more year. He'll stay at Texas for 1 more year. Arch Manning is not going to come out to this travesty called the Cleveland Browns. He's not going to. It's not going to happen. Okay? So let's get our minds right, y'all. Let's do that. All right. Y'all forgive me because I'm trying to get out there. I got the sun coming in. Don't get me wrong. Love the sun, but so that's the Browns. All right. So 1:00 Eastern Standard tomorrow. They play the Jets. I will be sitting by the TV because I need to watch this. Let's see how this goes. The Browns are 2-6, I think. Yeah, 2-6 or 2-5. Yeah. So we'll see. Can Tommy Rees turn this thing around, or is it going to be still the same old, Dylan Gabriel, aka Check Down Charlie. Because he's the master of the check down. All right. We'll see about that. Moving on. Let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They played the Washington Wizards last night and beat them by close to 30. Donovan Mitchell had another great game. Darius Garland, I believe, had 20. There were a few in double figures. Sam Merrill, Jalen Tyson off the bench with 10. DeAndre Hunter came back from an illness, so he had a kind of a subpar game, but I think he still was the lingering effects. But this is part of the tournament the NBA is throwing. So point differential now. The Cavaliers are on the board by point differential. They're 1-1 in this tournament. If you want my honest opinion, I could care less about this cup. I really do. I could care less. It's not overly entertaining to me. It's entertaining when you look at the how the floors are with the various teams, the colorfulness of the floor. But I think this NBA Cup to me is more exciting. It's just as exciting as like the All-Star game, which we'll get into that in one of my broadcasts later on, as we'll talk about how goofy the All-Star game is now. So this NBA Cup to me makes no sense. I mean, I understand they're trying to get folks interested and they put a lot of money up and all that. To me, just play the regular season. Just go ahead and play. And let's just get it out of the way. I never rested soul. I never want to see Kobe Bryant in the NBA Cup. I don't want to see that. I didn't want to see LeBron in it. It didn't. No. It's not exciting to me. Okay? It's not exciting. Good NBA games are exciting, but I'm not excited by the NBA Cup. That's just my opinion. As I always say, you might not like what I'm saying, but you will listen. Yeah, that's my opinion. Okay. But the Cavs played the Wizards last night. Cavs are 6-2 now. I'm listening, this week to a lot of people talking and looking at what how the Cavs are going to, how the Cavs are evolving. And I made a statement last week and I said, I don't believe that Evan Mobley has the mentality to be that guy, to be that dog. I just don't think he's built that way. And so, I know that I'll get backlash from a lot of Cavalier fans. I just don't think he's built that way. Just like Jared Allen. Everybody's looking for Jared Allen to be this like dog. That's not how Jared Allen is built. He's not built that way. So your expectation of someone who is not built that way will cause disappointment. And I don't think Evan Mobley is at that point of being that alpha dog. Now, I'm not saying Evan Mobley is a scrub because he's not. Evan Mobley is very skilled. He can play. But to me, trying to turn him into a more athletic Draymond Green, I think is a mistake. I just truly believe that Evan Mobley should play the 5, and you should bring Jared Allen off the bench. I just believe that. Okay. I think with Evan, you got to open up the post to him. You have to open it up. And to me, Evan Mobley would be a mid-range, in the box monster who can occasionally step outside and hit a 3-point shot. I said this before. I think he has fallen in love with the 3. He shot 4 of them last night. He didn't make 1. And that confirms what I told L Train on 3 the hard way, who is a high-level college basketball, women's basketball coach. Shout out to my brother L. But I said, Evan Mobley is a shooter. He's not a maker. And if those who have coached basketball or played basketball at a high level will understand what I just said, Evan Mobley is a shooter. He's not a maker. Okay? He hasn't gotten to that level yet. I mean, hell, Jalen Tyson right now is shooting better than Evan Mobley. Okay? And no disrespect to Jalen Tyson. Right now, he's making it to where when Max Strus comes back, there's going to be a conundrum. There's going to be a problem. Kenny Atkinson got to find minutes. He's going to have to find minutes because Jalen Tyson is turning himself into a 3-and-D guy. Okay? Now, quick story. I heard this today that DeAndre Hunter, because Jalen Tyson is top 3 in the league in fouls, so he gave him the nickname Hacky Chan. I think that is hilarious. I really do. I think that is just the funniest thing I've heard in a long time. But to Jalen Tyson's credit, he knows that he's got to learn, and he's learning the hard way. And he's figuring it out. And when Jalen Tyson figures it out, he is a much better upgrade than Isaac Okoro. Right now, he's a much better upgrade than Isaac Okoro, period. And he's still on his rookie deal. Okay? So he's cost efficient. But I made the question, getting back to Evan Mobley, I said the question, would Donovan Mitchell allow him to become the alpha? Now, let me explain this. It does not mean that Donovan Mitchell does not want him to be. But if it gets to a point where Donovan sees that Evan is just not getting it, will Donovan Mitchell go supernova? And the answer is yes. Donovan Mitchell wants a championship more than anything in this world. And Donovan Mitchell wants Evan Mobley to become Evan Mobley, because if Evan Mobley becomes that Evan Mobley, then the Cleveland Cavaliers will win multiple championships. Multiple. Okay? Because the only person out west that could possibly guard him is Victor Wembanyama. But if you look at the series, when the Cavaliers play the Spurs, Evan Mobley dominates Victor Wembanyama. I said it. Go back and look. He dominates him. Okay? Because he can stay in front of Victor. Where a lot of guys that size can't stay in front of Wembanyama. But Evan Mobley can. He can stay in front of him. He's not intimidated by him. I'm anxious to see they play the Spurs this year. I'm anxious to see that matchup again. But I think if it boils down to it, if it's 5 seconds left on the clock and you got a choice between Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell, I think Evan Mobley would choose Donovan Mitchell. Very simple. So it's not saying that Donovan's going to be a hater. No. I'm just saying that if it gets down to the nitty with the gritty, will Donovan Mitchell give the ball to Evan Mobley, or will Donovan take it himself? That would be an intriguing question that if I had the opportunity to ask Donovan Mitchell, I would ask him. And I would say, don't give me the politically correct answer. In your heart of hearts, you guys got an opportunity in the Eastern Conference Finals to win to go to the championship. You're down 1. Do you give the ball to Evan Mobley in a game 7 to score that bucket, or do you take it upon yourself? And I guarantee you, if as the man upstairs is my witness, Donovan Mitchell will say himself. So that's what I'm saying. Okay. Now, right now, the Cavaliers are doing a pretty good job. They're trying to work Evan in. I know Kenny Atkinson said this week that they kind of had to back up off of his usage because they saw him wearing down. To me, it's not his usage. To me, it's his shot selection. And Kenny will come back and say, hey, I like the shots that Evan shoots. Yeah, you're supposed to say that, Kenny. I'm not mad at you. You're supposed to say that. But Evan Mobley's shot selection is horrible. To me, Evan Mobley would not shoot a three-point shot until I get 2 or 3 buckets in the paint. Until I get 2 or 3 buckets in the paint, Evan Mobley wouldn't shoot 1 3-point shot. Now, once he give me 4 to 6 points in the paint, go ahead out there and go ahead and fire one up. I don't care. That's cool. You make one, you shoot another. You miss one, get back down on the box. Okay? So when I make that statement, like I said, I'm not trying to be a hater toward Evan Mobley. I'm not trying to be a hater toward Donovan Mitchell. I think when this team is healthy, when Max Strus comes back, when this team is 100% healthy, they are deep. They're deep. When it comes to Lonzo Ball, that to me is kind of an upgrade from Ty Jerome. And the reason I say kind of an upgrade, Ty Jerome's probably a better scorer, but Lonzo Ball is bigger, faster, and will drop a dime in a heartbeat. I saw a pass against, it wasn't the Wizards, it was the Sixers. Lonzo Ball threaded the needle to Jared Allen. It was a very sweet pass. Lonzo Ball don't have a problem in passing the ball. The team has got to get used to Lonzo Ball. Okay? But I said this before. If y'all expecting Lonzo Ball to go out and give you 20, he ain't doing that. His J ain't wet like that. He not doing that. Okay? It would be an added bonus if he could get you 10, 15, but I don't see Lonzo Ball doing that. Not saying he won't do it. There'll probably be a couple of games that he'll get hot and do that, but I'm not looking from that consistently from Lonzo Ball. What I'm looking from Lonzo Ball is to run the offense with the second unit, is to play lockdown D, which he does, and to rebound, which he does at 6'6", 6'7". That's what he does. Okay? Darius Garland has returned. It's going to take a few games, even though Darius had 20, it's going to take a few games to get his feet up under him. I can see physically that he's gotten bigger in terms of his size. I see he's put on some muscle. Excuse me. So we'll see how that transpires for Darius Garland. The offense runs more effective. Jared Allen is a more effective player when Darius Garland is on the floor because Darius knows where to get Jared the ball. He knows that Jared Allen is a pick and roll kind of guy. He knows where and when to get him the ball. So Cavalier fans, be optimistic. Don't look at the record right now. Look at the development. Kenny Atkinson is basically going through an extension of training camp right now. And the Cavs are 6-2. Relax. Everybody relax. All right. This team is going to make a run, but they're going to be smart about how they do it. Okay. Because they made that run during the regular season and they got mollywopped by the Indiana Pacers. So the Cavaliers, I believe, will win the Eastern Conference, but I believe they're going to do it intelligently. Okay? When guys need rest, they're going to get them rest. Kenny wants to win the East, and Kenny's going to win the East. Because if anybody think, I know my New York Knicks fans there, well, the Knicks beat them game 1. Yeah, okay. Well, everybody was sitting down, gentlemen. Come on, calm down. Okay? I don't see the Knicks beating them. I don't see the Bucks beating them. Philadelphia, even with Embiid, I don't, even though Tyrese Maxey's a monster, I just don't see Philadelphia having enough to beat them. Boston, with all my Boston guys, hey, we don't have Jason Tatum. So what? Doesn't matter. Okay? You still got to play. All right? Still got to play. So in Orlando, I'm tired of folks talking about Orlando. Don't get me wrong. Paolo Banchero is an absolute beast. But Paolo can't get them over the top, and I'm not a fan of the Orlando Magic. So the Cavaliers have an opportunity to do something special. And my thing is, and I'll say this, if they don't do it this year, then this team will be deconstructed. Kobe Altman will he will reconstruct his team. Somebody in that starting five won't be here. Somebody, whether it's Jared Allen and Darius Garland, or whether it's Donovan or Evan, somebody in it, because Dan Gilbert, although he does not have a problem in spending money, he's not gonna keep spending money in that cap. He's not gonna keep doing that. Kobe Altman's smarter than that. He's gonna figure it out. All right. Listen, I'm gonna take this moment once again. If you have not subscribed to the Locker Room, what in the world is going on? I need y'all to subscribe to the Locker Room. All right, it's very easy. And when I'm gonna start live streaming, where you guys can come in and we can have live chat. Okay, I'm gonna start doing that real soon. All right, where we can sit up and you guys can shoot your questions at me, and I'll shoot them things right back at you. Okay. But if you have not subscribed to Three the Hard Way, then I want you to go to YouTube after I get off here, after you watch this, because you're probably already on YouTube, and then go over and hit Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast. All right. And go ahead and subscribe. Look at some of the videos, like and comment, all that. When you subscribe here, like, comment. All right. I will get back to you. Okay. Yeah. Make your comments. It's okay. All right. That's how we do it. Okay. I try to come on here, and I'm going to try to come on here every Saturday and set you guys up for the Sunday football festivities when it comes to the Browns. And then talk about, some other things. Okay. I try to stay on here between 45 and an hour. Okay. I don't want to, bombard you. I know everybody enjoys their Saturdays and everybody enjoys their day, but I just want to get on here and I just want to talk a little sports, and that's what I do. Speaking of, let's talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes. I haven't talked to them on this platform. I have on Three the Hard Way, but I got to give love to my Buckeyes. Okay, Buckeyes played Purdue, beat the brakes off Purdue. Thought that remained undefeated. I think they're 9-0 now. Indiana, they barely beat Penn State. So I'm waiting for the polls for next week, because they got Indiana at number 2 behind Ohio State. Ohio State blew the doors off of Penn State, and it took a last-second touchdown for Indiana to beat Penn State. That's not a number 2 team in the country. Sorry. I'm going to be realistic. It's not a number 2 team in the country. Okay? Not them. I think Oregon is a better team than Indiana. Period. I think Oregon, when all their receivers are healthy, I think Oregon is a better team. But I don't care, because the Buckeyes are number 1 and they're just steamrolling. Okay. Purdue didn't have a chance. Okay. They didn't. This offense is potent. Julian Sain is the Heisman, is in the Heisman category. Julian Sain, he threw 1 interception today, but he threw for over 300 yards. He did not have Tate. Tate was held out for some reason. I really didn't understand the reasoning. They just, Ryan Day said they were being cautious. I don't know if he, hamstring, whatever it may be. I don't know, but they held him out. But Jeremiah Smith is that dude. If you don't know that Jeremiah Smith is the number 1 wide receiver in the country, go ahead and watch this game. Go ahead and watch the replay of this game and watch Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith is that dude. Okay. I mean, he is that guy. And Julian Sain, I've been asked, because I do comparisons, and I've been asked, who do I compare Julian Sain to? And I said just his pocket presence, how he commands the offense, how he stays calm under pressure, how he throws the football, he might have a little bit more arm strength than this person I'm about to say, but he reminds me of Drew Brees. That's pretty much the comparison I can put to Julian Sain. He reminds me of Drew Brees. Okay. And uh that's not a bad comparison. When you look at Drew Brees and what Drew Brees did in college and even in the pros, Drew Brees had a command. He commanded. Now I will say Julian Sain. I think Julian Sain has a stronger arm than Drew Brees. But I'm looking at pocket presence, control of the offense, accuracy. He reminds me of Drew Brees, and that's why to me he's the best quarterback in the country. Drew Aller is out for the rest of the year. I know that young boy in Oregon is pretty good, but and of course you got to give some credit to Arch Manning. But I believe that Julian Sain is the best quarterback in the country, and he's proving it. Okay, now his test will be against that team up north when that time comes. Um, but I like what Ryan Day is doing. Ryan Day has just gradually brought him along, and he is now you can tell that Julian Sain has total control of the Buckeye offense. Total control. Okay. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Bo Jackson, Cleveland's own Bo Jackson. Okay. And I'm watching these weapons, okay? I'm watching these weapons that they have on offense. But then that Matt Patricia defense, okay? That Matt Patricia defense is absolutely positively suffocating. With that All-American back there, Caleb Downs, Igbuenosa, okay, who does have a tendency to get a pass interference. I think he's got to fix that, or that's going to cost him in a big game. He gets too handsy, and then he doesn't turn around. But Caleb Downs is a stud. He's going to be a first-round draft pick to whoever pick him up. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. Sonny Styles, went from safety to linebacker, and now he's an All-American. I mean, that defensive line, I have studied the great Larry Johnson, who is the defensive line coach at Ohio State. When I coached as a defensive line coach, and I was a high school coach for many years. When I coached the defensive line, I literally sat up and listened to every word Larry Johnson said. Larry Johnson is a genius. I don't know why people don't give him the credit he deserves, but Larry Johnson is an absolute genius. Brian Hartline moving as the offensive coordinator. Like I said, this team is moving on all cylinders right now. But the test is that team up north. I can't deny it. I won't deny it. Yes, they won a national championship last year, but they lost to that team up north. You can't do that. Okay. And then some will ask the question, hey, would you rather have a national championship or beat the team up north? I'd rather have them both. I'm greedy. I'm a Buckeyes fan. I grew up a Buckeyes fan. And, I don't care what your record is. If you can't beat the team up north, it doesn't mean a thing. Now, we'll take the national championship because we earned it. And I get that. But that's got to leave a sour taste in your mouth when you can't beat the team up north. Okay? So the test is, can they beat that team up north? Can they do it? Do I think they can? Yeah. Yeah. But that quarterback there at up north, he's going to be a problem in probably the next 2 years. He's going to be a problem. I already see him coming. Okay. I see that young man coming. The young man, he can play. Okay. Right now, I don't think he's ready, but he's going to be a problem. Okay. But can the Buckeyes repeat as national champions? Yeah, they have the firepower and they have the will to do it. Is it going to be an easy road? No, no. Um, but I do see them possibly running the table, and winning the Big Ten. Um, they're on a collision course with Indiana. Uh, and I think they'll beat the brakes off of Indiana. I think Indiana's smoke and mirrors. I really do. And then watching them today against Penn State, and Penn State looked putrid against Ohio State. And watching Indiana struggle to beat Penn State, no. I'm not sitting here concerned about Penn State. I mean Indiana. I'm not. I'm just not concerned about Indiana. So if we meet in the Big Ten championship, such is life. Come get it. As John Cena says, if you want some, come get some. I'm not worried about that. The only team that concerns me will be that team up north, because for some reason Ryan Day has a brain blockage when it comes to playing the team up north. Urban Meyer didn't. He would beat the brakes off of Michigan. Okay. I said their name. Sorry. Okay. He beat the brakes off of them. Never lost to him. Okay. So, but this Buckeyes team is loaded. They're loaded from top to bottom. They are loaded, and I do see them running the table in the Big Ten, and I see them winning the Big Ten championship. Um, like I said, in the tournament, it's anybody's call, you know. Like I said, I do like Oregon and what Oregon does. Of course, Bama. There's a few teams in there that could give the Buckeyes a run for their money, but just those two first round draft picks in Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, you know, geez. Brandon Ennis is the third receiver, and Brandon Ennis was a 4-star or 5-star athlete, and he's the third receiver. Give me a break. Okay. Well, you got 2 number 1 draft picks out there, and you got a lower first. You actually got 3 number 1 draft picks, because Brandon Ennis is the lower. I would say he would be the lower first round. He could be a lower first round. Okay. Early second round. Brandon Ennis is not going to get drafted past the second round. He's not going to get past the second round. But Carnell Tate, first round draft pick. Jeremiah Smith will probably be the number 1 draft pick. Okay. Then the thing is, what people don't understand, Chris Henry Jr. is coming. Did y'all hear me? Son of the late Chris Henry, played wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Chris Henry Jr. is on his way. And Chris Henry Jr. is an absolute dog. Okay. So the Buckeyes ain't going to do nothing but retool. And to think about it, Julian Sane is going to be there. He's a redshirt freshman. Julian Sane will be back. The Buckeyes are just retooling. They coming. Okay. They coming. So they beat Purdue by a large margin. I think it was 34-3. They beat Purdue, unless Purdue got some garbage score out, which I don't think they did. So shout out to Buckeye Nation. I do. I see them running the table. Even if they get into a dog fight with that team up north, I think they can beat the team up north this year. So I'm looking forward to that, to the game. But I'm also looking forward to the Buckeyes trying to run the table and win a second national championship, 2 in a row. So they win 2 in a row consecutive years. And if they could run the table a third year, now you're talking dynasty. That's what you're talking about. Okay. So, having said that, that is my time, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Listen, enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the games on Sunday. And once again, if you have not subscribed to 3 The Hard Way Sports Podcast or The Locker Room, I triple dog dare you to do that. I triple dog dare you to just lock in to The Locker Room, come on in, and then go to the 3 The Hard Way Sports Podcast here on YouTube. All right. Once again, I am your friendly neighborhood coach. And enjoy your Saturday, the rest of your Saturday evening, and enjoy your entire Sunday. And always remember, all right, love on somebody. Tell somebody you love them. Don't always assume that they
This
know.
goes out.
Let me get out of here.
To all the fallen
I'll
souls.
see you.
All the brothers behind bars. Locked up. All my people. No matter where you at in the struggle, this was for you. I feel the pain from so many mothers crying. Cause every single day I see another brother die. It don't make sense. Somebody make it make sense. And all the fathers trapped inside a living hell. Cause ain't nothing nice seeing your son inside a cell. It don't make sense. So please make it make sense. Yeah. Our neighborhoods ain't the same, it's a shame. It used to be love, but now we curse with all this pain. What happened to the days we would party at the park, reminiscing, drinking liquor, barbecuing after dark. Dice game going 6, 8, and 9, 5. Everybody outside, we just glad to be alive.